In our last video, we shared the best way to set yourself up to be successful in praying. If you missed it, you may want to check that out. In this video, we're going to use the model prayer that Jesus taught to create a template anyone can use to pray like Jesus. Jesus taught us how to pray, not necessarily what to pray. We don't just repeat the same prayer over and over. Though there's nothing wrong with praying the Lord's Prayer, Jesus was more interested in giving us a way to pray than specific words to pray. So when you break down the Lord's Prayer in Matthew 6, 9 through 15, you find there are 5 distinct parts. The first part, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, is acknowledging God and expressing praise. So the best way to start your prayer is by recognizing who God is and thanking Him for what He's done. The way I like to say it is, what is one thing I appreciate about God today, and what is one thing I'm thankful for from God yesterday? Keep it specific and personal. For example, you can say, "Thank you, God, for my family," but how much more meaningful is it when you thank God for letting you hear your daughter say, "I love you"? It just matters more. The second part is, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It is praying for alignment. In essence, God, align things with what you want. It expresses both your willingness to take on God's agenda for your life and a desire to see the world around you align with God as well. Pray for God's purpose and plan for your life, for your spouse, your children, your family, your boss, your friends, your neighbors, our country. You get the idea. Again, be as specific and personal as you can. Do you have a big decision to make? Pray and tell God you want what He thinks is best. Are you concerned about a family member? Pray and ask God to give them wisdom. Now, there's so much to pray for. I have a system that I've used in the past. On Sundays, I pray for my church family. On Mondays, I pray for my wife. On Tuesdays, my kids. Again, you get the idea. Praying for God's agenda and humbly accepting God's plan in every area of life. Part 3 comes from Give Us Today Our Daily Bread. This means to pray for your needs. Your material needs, your emotional needs, your spiritual needs, but all of them. Never be shy about asking God for what you need today. Part 4 says, and forgive our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. Think of this as keeping your relationships healthy. Confess first to God where you've missed the mark and ask God to forgive you. Not because He doesn't know, but because you grow when you confess and ask forgiveness. Again, be specific. Not, God, forgive me, whatever wrong things I may have done. Instead, God, forgive me for being selfish and impatient with my wife. Then it's your turn. Who has hurt, upset, or bothered you? In prayer, offer up your forgiveness for what they've done. Refuse to hold a grudge and pray God's best for them. Finally, part 5. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Ask for protection. My version is, Father, keep us, my family, my coworkers, my community group from evil, and keep evil from us. Again, get specific. What temptations are you fighting? Lust, greed, anger? Ask God to help. What ugly, hurtful things surround you? Is it a toxic workplace or an immoral influence? Ask God to take them from your life. You may want to write these down. Put them on a card so that you can see them every day. These 5 pieces. Jesus wants to show you how to pray well. So use this model when you pray. You acknowledge God. You give thanks and praise. You align your heart with God. Humbly choose God's plan. Third, you ask God to meet your needs. All of them. Fourth, keep relationships healthy by requesting and giving forgiveness. And finally, seek God's protection. When you pray like Jesus, this is a secret that almost nobody seems to know. When you pray like Jesus, you become more like Jesus. Prayer becomes more comfortable, more effective, and it builds your relationship with God when you use the model that Jesus gives us for prayer. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to catch our next video on talking to God.